It seems like everyone is talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard right now. She's back in the world and has been getting a lot of attention recently. Some of it good and some of it not so great. After all, she has been away for more than 8 years. Now, plenty of celebrities have been reacting to her release and it seems like everyone has a different opinion. So let's get into it. Patricia AET, the actress, is speaking out about Gypsy Rose Blanchard's release from prison for the first time since the news broke. If you didn't know, Patricia AET portrayed Gypsy's mother Dee Dee Blanchard in the 2019 drama series The Act. She has now spoken up about her reaction when she heard that Gypsy was being released. She said she's all grown up and she's been through a lot, and there's this weird thing of art imitating life and then the reality. And I think from someone who had a very specific, difficult childhood to come into this age of Instagram craziness, TikTok, I don't know, I hope it's not too much. Patricia hopes that people are gentle on her and that she's able to enjoy her freedom because no one should ever go through that. Patricia also said that although she was fascinated by Dee Dee and Gypsy's story because the details of it were so unnatural, her own children were apparently against her playing the character, who we all know had Munchausen syndrome by proxy. She explained that they all knew the story and they did not want her to portray someone like that on screen. Apparently, her kids were concerned that she was actually going to turn into the character when she played her. But of course, she ended up taking the role despite all the skepticism, and she received an Emmy and a Golden Globe for her portrayal, so the controversial decision paid off in the end. She was also right about Gypsy's struggles after being released. She's still new to social media and already Gen Z is pretty much obsessed with her. In her own interview, Gypsy said, "I'm coming into this brand new. I feel like I'm a new baby bird on the internet. I don't even know how to do all of the emojis. I think they relate to me in a sense because I'm coming out and experiencing things for the first time." So all of this is just a first time experience for her, which is where the appeal might be. The fact that she's learning about her identity while Gen Z is learning about theirs too. Joey King, the actress, is wishing Gypsy Rose Blanchard well after her release from prison. Joey actually played Gypsy in Hulu's series The Act, and she was recently approached by photographers asking for her opinion on the news. She reluctantly answered by saying, "I'm so happy that she's released. I'm so happy for her, she deserves freedom." Though she did dodge a few questions about whether or not she had spoken to Gypsy or has any plans to in the future. Some fans online have been joking about the fact that Gypsy actually hates Joey King because of the way that she portrayed her in a series. From the outside looking in, it's clear that she did a lot of research for the role. The voice was spot on, and so were all the subtle mannerisms. But even though she put a lot of effort into it and did a brilliant job of acting, there is still the ethical question of whether or not we should be making these true crime stories all for entertainment. Thankfully, Gypsy herself hasn't actually watched the series, and she has no plans to do so. When she was asked about her decision, she said it's because she had to live it. I mean, after all, she's suffered her whole life. Now that she's finally free from it, there's no reason that she would want to revisit that place again. It's going to take years for her to truly move past everything that's happened, which is why it sounds traumatic for her to even watch the story based on her own life. She also spoke up about the biggest misconception in her case, which was the way that her mother was portrayed on screen. She said, "I think people tend to forget, or maybe they don't even know, that the reason why my mom was able to snowblind the doctors so much and the community is because she was so friendly. In the shows, they're portraying her as mean all the time, and that's not how it was." According to Gypsy, she was very charming, very relatable. She would give a hug to anyone. She liked to cook for people. Her personality was bubbly and friendly to the outside world. Then of course, we didn't really get to see what happened behind closed doors, where she was a different person entirely. Amanda Knox. Amanda has stepped forward to defend Gypsy Rose Blanchard as she attempts to return to a normal life, saying she's in a new kind of prison, and this time the prison is the prison of public opinion. The author and activist was convicted of the 2007 hit involving her roommate Meredith Kircher while she was studying in Italy. The now 36-year-old was freed from prison in 2011 and has since returned to normal life. But she says trying to return to normalcy after being incarcerated was difficult. Amanda says that she believes Gypsy Rose's sudden rise to fame and the circumstances surrounding her mother's passing might make it difficult to overcome her years in prison. In a piece for the Free Press, Amanda wrote, "When I look at Gypsy, even though she was guilty and I was innocent, I see the blundering into freedom in the exact same way that I did. I've learned that I am more than the worst thing that ever happened to me, but where there is value in sharing my story with others, I'm entitled to do so." The same goes for Gypsy. Amanda went on to say, now that she's admitted to what she's done and served her time, she doesn't owe anybody anything. According to experts, Gypsy was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Dee Dee falsely claimed that she suffered from an array of illnesses, including leukemia, bulimia and muscular dystrophy. Her mother shaved her head, forced her into a wheelchair, had some of her teeth removed, and paraded her at charitable events like a sickly child, including fully paid trips to Disney World, all because she wanted to be seen as a caretaker. She lied about an induced illness in her own daughter. The truth about the situation only came out after Gypsy arranged for an online boyfriend to take out Dee Dee in 2015, Joy Behar. While going on The View, Gypsy spoke about her life in prison and her plans to use her platform to advocate for other victims of Munchausen by proxy. During the interview, she said, "If there is someone out there watching right now, please listen to me. Heed my words, that you are not alone in this situation. There are other ways out. I did it the wrong way." But this is where she gets interrupted by Joy Behar, who seemed to forget that Gypsy actually had committed a crime. She said, no honey, don't say that. You had no choice really. And then in response, Gypsy said, "Well, I did. I did something wrong. I paid my dues for it." It was only at this moment that Joy seemed to remember what happened to the death of her mother, because she says, "Oh, you mean that part? Oh yeah, never mind." Of course, this part of the interview went viral because of how ridiculous it was. At a certain point, Anna Navarro feels a need to say that the crime itself was wrong, which just speaks to how confused Joy really was. It's great to see that she was siding with Gypsy, considering the fact that she was a victim of her circumstances, but she very casually almost justified the crime. So it is a little awkward for those people who were watching, but hey, at least she got out of it alright. And it's definitely not the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened on The View. In the new docuseries, there's a number of times when family or professionals could have stepped in and removed Gypsy from her mother's care. Speaking about it now, Gypsy feels that a big part of it was that there were people who had suspicions, family included, but nobody actually wanted to rock the boat. It wasn't brought up to other people and it was not talked about. So people kept their suspicions to themselves just for fear of upsetting her mother and ultimately pushing them away as friends. She does believe that certain doctors also had their suspicions, but at the end of the day, it also has to do with money. She said they were making money off of her, and in that profession, that came first. At one point though, CPS did actually come to their house to check on her, but they were asking the wrong kinds of questions, saying things like, "Show me your arms, show me your legs, let me check for bruises." And at that point, her mum never actually hit her, so of course they didn't end up finding anything. They just came the one time and then they closed the file on her. Unfortunately, that visit only caused Dee Dee to become increasingly more paranoid. She actually went as far as to remove the doorbell on their door because she was just so worried about CPS coming back. When Gypsy Rose was released from prison, one of the first things she planned to do was try to meet Taylor Swift. In prison, she spent all of her commissary money buying all her albums, but sadly she has not managed to meet her favorite artist. It was reported that she was forced to leave Missouri by her parole officer, where the Chiefs game where she planned to meet Taylor was held. So it's upsetting that she still was not allowed to meet her idol, though it's not entirely surprising. But she has been up to a lot since leaving prison, including going shopping and a welcome home party. The very first thing that Gypsy did after she was released was going to buy a new pair of shoes. She was filmed going into a shoe shop with her husband Ryan Anderson, wearing unfastened boots that didn't seem to fit her. She was then pictured absolutely beaming with her new pair of trainers. Her first post on Instagram after being released was captioned "First selfie of freedom," where she showed off her new pink iPhone 15 in a hotel room next to a crate of Dr. Pepper. Since coming home, Gypsy had a welcome party as well as a New Year's Eve party. Her sister Mia Blanchard posted a video of her on Instagram with a confetti cannon in front of huge welcome home balloons and a big cake. She also had a party on New Year's Eve where she posted a photo of a New Year's Eve kiss with her husband Ryan. In another picture she posted a few days later, she showed off her new wedding ring as well as a fresh set of nails. That picture was captioned, "Finally get to wear my beautiful wedding ring." Since her release, Gypsy has also done a series of high-profile interviews along with her husband, who she met while she was in prison. And she's been very active on social media, which has been met with mixed reactions. In a comment section on Instagram, she gushed about her love life and defended her husband from backlash, writing, "They jealous because you are rocking my world every night. Yeah, I said it, the D is fire. Happy wife, happy life." It's been said that Gypsy has been a prisoner twice in her life, once as an inmate and before that at the hands of her own mother. So after serving 8 years behind bars, she's now ready to start fresh and finally experience freedom for the first time. What do you think about the Gypsy Rose Blanchard story? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.